called Fair Warning. Fair Warning, of course, being
Van Halen's worst album.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Adam Johnson, and this is Cover Band Confidential. The video you're about to watch is a conversation from episode 140 of the Cover Band Confidential podcast, where we talk about band names. In a super competitive market, your band name is one of the easiest ways to separate yourself from your competition. Choosing the right one may involve some due diligence and some challenges you may not have anticipated. Now, while this conversation pertains to cover bands, I think this pertains to any music artist or creative venture in general. Just wanted to thank all of our new subscribers. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post new videos on this channel every Friday, and there are other ways that you can support us as well. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We do have a Patreon or a PayPal account if you're not into monthly payments, or you could just share this video or any of our other videos with your friends. There's a lot of fun stories and anecdotes in this one, and with that out of the way, let's get into it. Are we ready to get into like business talk?
Let's do it.
Is it business time?
It's business time.
Let's talk about band names. So you got a band name.
I do.
I got a band name. Most of the guys who and gals who are consuming this content have band names. And I feel like we've gone to great lengths to explain how we got to our band names, yours being a completely original thought that you kind of wrapped the band around.
That's right.
Where I took a very obvious cultural reference and repurposed it, like many, many others.
Absolutely.
It is something that we talk about a lot when we're talking about branding and talking about making unique products for the marketplace and how to differentiate yourself. You know, one of the easiest ways to do that is with a name. Mike Schulte would say that, you know, the Pork Tornadoes being a memorable yet arguably terrible name is part of the reason why they've been so sticky as far as their popularity and their brand awareness.
Absolutely. They play the same game I do with the Clanky Lincolns, where the name doesn't quite make a ton of sense, and it's a little sticky to say in your mouth. Like, it's a little tough. It's not too smooth. I find that a smooth name disappears from your brain, whereas a sticky one, it sticks in your brain better.
And so, you know, we have different kinds of problems, though. In your case, you have to start completely from ground level in order to build your brand awareness.
That's right.
There was no Clanky Lincolns before you, and God willing, there won't be one after. So it is incumbent upon you and your bandmates to make that brand something.
Yeah. Actually, it's even worse than that, because when people haven't heard of us, often they think we're like some kind of folk or rockabilly thing because they think of the car, the Lincoln. It's not. It's the president. We have no cultural background that our name references that says anything about who we are. So,
you know, in my case, I have an 80s band called Members Only, like the Jackets and a number of other references. The other thing about that name is that there's a lot of other 80s bands called Members Only.
Yep.
They're all around us. And it's an interesting position to be in, because when you're using a reference or something that is technically copyrighted or trademarked by another entity, you don't have a lot of say in who does or doesn't get to use your name.
Right.
In my case, there was a band called Members Only that did exactly what we did in the Atlanta area about 15, 20 years ago. And we still get inquiries from people thinking or asking if we're the same group. Which we are not, but we also have other members onlys that I'm friends with online. There's one in Missouri, and we get inquiries from their prospective clients all the time. We just kind of just redirect them. That's what we have to do. The other thing about something being so ubiquitous is that there's a lot of brand confusion. There being multiple members only, even in the Atlanta area. Also, there's other things. Anything can be members only. Like a club can be members only, a restaurant, an event can be members only. So we get tagged in a lot of stuff that like isn't related to us at all. The biggest thing that I'm dealing with is that in Atlanta, Chainz, the rapper, opened up a restaurant called Members Only.
Yeah.
And our handle on Instagram is Members Only ATL, and their tag is ATL Members Only. So I get tagged in a lot of really interesting stuff. And most of the time when I get an alert on my phone that says Members Only was mentioned in a story, I know I'm immediately about to log into Instagram and shoot them a message that says, hey, not us, someone else.
Yeah.
And it can also cause negative stuff. I had to do some damage control because somebody tagged us on Twitter because a bunch of cars got broken into at that place. And so it said, Members Only, da-da-da-da-da, there, you know, all these break-ins. And it was like a video of this guy like with all these smashed windows. And I had to I literally responded like on the spot, said, ha ha ha, not us. There's never been any kind of break-ins at our show.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that we all know that, you know, you're talking about one and not the other. But it does raise an interesting question. Common names aside, what do you do? How do you navigate this kind of thing, especially in a situation where there might be other people who have thought of it before you, and how do you navigate those kinds of things?
Yeah.
So you had an interesting story that kind of came up in your scene that's been a little steamy,
a little bit.
So salty.
There is a brand new Van Halen tribute act here in Raleigh, North Carolina, called Fair Warning. Fair Warning, of course, being
Van Halen's worst album.
Shots fired.
So, Fair Warning, new Van Halen tribute act, the premier Van Halen,
premiere, of course.
Gosh, whatever. Well, there has been a Van Halen tribute act in Raleigh, North Carolina for about 20 years named Fair Warning. Not these guys, different guys. So these guys came out and immediately a bunch of people were like, hey, are you aware that that's kind of spoken for in this market? And their response was like, we'll see who can outlast the other. So, I guess we will see. It really is if like somebody was like, no, now we're members only.
Right. And, to be perfectly honest, that very well could happen.
Yeah, nothing's stopping them.
Exactly.
Nothing but market forces, right?
And technically that's what we did, but the funny thing is, we didn't get a ton of blowback.
But if this was like somebody playing the corner of the bar,
right,
you'd have something to say about that.
I would have something to say about it because it does affect your reputation in your market.
Absolutely.
So for these guys, I don't know if it was something that they did intentionally, or maybe it was like they messed up and then like decided to double down on it.
That is the sense I get, is that they weren't aware they were stepping on somebody else's name, and then they didn't care when they found out.
I feel like that's a pretty low level of due diligence, though.
Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's kind of unacceptable. And the market seems to be telling them that. We'll see who can outlast the other.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
The reason why we ended up talking about this is because this story came up, and then I had a listener reach out to me a little while back asking the same thing. In their case, they have a 90s group, and they got someone else reaching out to them saying that he's trademarked the name, and he's asking them to change their name through Facebook Messenger.
That's right. Official Facebook message from my attorney.
In this particular case, though, he was like, what should I do? I said, if I'm being perfectly honest, I would make him put his money where his mouth is. I would ask for a certified letter from an attorney that, verifies that there is a trademark and have reference numbers to be able to look that kind of thing up, because it could very well just be somebody mad that they took their great idea and, they don't want to share it. You have to be willing to call their bluff in a lot of these situations.
Well, and unless there is an actual registered trademark, which is not easy to get and costs money, the winner of a dispute when there's not a registered trademark is the earliest user of the term. It's called prior art, right? So in essence, if our emailer can demonstrate that he was using this name before this other person who's claiming the name, they're going to get it. They're going to win.
But that only applies if they have a registered trademark, because right of first use is not enforceable unless you have it registered with the trademark office.
Well, the point is that the trademark is going to get issued to the one who has first use. So if there's a dispute and it comes to that, winner is the oldest.
Unless you have a trademark registered, there is no way to enforce any of this.
Yeah, there's nothing to enforce.
And, we had that conversation a couple episodes back about the Pearl Jam with 2 M's, right, and Pearl Jam sending them a cease and desist, because that is intellectual property. That is a mark that they own that they are obligated to enforce.
That's right.
So if you feel like the branding and the name of your group is worth protecting, you probably do need to go the legal route. Now, just to clarify, you can trademark a name if you're trying to protect artwork, logos, and those kinds of things. There's a copywritten. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah, copyright is for artistic works, including pieces of art like logos. I don't know any bands that actually have trademarks on their names. Do you? That aren't big touring acts. That's a different thing. I think folks in our category, I'd be surprised if any of them done the legwork and legal work. And
so Yacht Rock Review owns the trademark for Yacht Rock used in music performance.
Yeah, now see, I would put them in a different category than almost all of us.
To be fair, they were way out ahead of this. As soon as they saw that there was some there,
that's true,
they went ahead and trademarked that deal. And they had a situation where they had to threaten to sue Christopher Cross because he wanted to do a tour and call it, Yacht Rock something with Christopher Cross.
Right.
And they were like, no, you can't do that. They tried to come up with some kind of negotiation, kind of a back and forth, whatever. And basically their condition was you can use Yacht Rock if you use us as your band, and then he passed.
If you have a trademark and you opt not to defend it, if they'd said, no, Christopher Cross, that's fine. What happens is you lose the defensibility of the mark, right? So then anybody can use it. If you're just giving it away, you can't choose conditions or people to give it away to. The minute you start giving it away, you've lost the ability to protect it. So it is incumbent on you, if you own a trademark, to defend it in all cases, however ridiculous, including Pearl Jam with 2 M's.
But in most cases, there's not going to be a need for this kind of thing. I think the majority of the artists and musicians have a pretty solid radius that they operate inside. And as long as you're not encroaching on other people's markets and you're not infringing on on any other trademarks, it's kind of fair game. That may not be the correct legal approach, but I think given the level of commerce that a lot of cover bands are, that it very rarely comes up.
Yeah.
One of the things that you almost hope for is that you get one of those letters because it means that you've hit some sort of notoriety.
That's right. And then hopefully you do better with it than Pearl Jam did.
So in conclusion, come up with a cool name, take somebody else's, just don't be a dick.
Be cool about it. And then if somebody has a problem with you, be cool about that too.
Guys, if you're still watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We post new videos on this channel every Friday, as well as a new podcast episode every week. Take care, and we'll see you next time.